Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Today is April 2nd, 2020. I know it was just a couple days ago when I did a news video, but holy crap, man, there's been a lot of stuff happening since the other day. Actually, the same day, some things occurred as well. So just to kind of keep everybody up to date, I'm putting together another news bit for today. One of the cool things I came across, and this article was from, I think, last week, March 24th. If you haven't heard of the Stormbirds, or if you've never visited their website, their blog, I highly recommend it. These guys are really good. I like the articles that they write. You don't find too many people that do things like that. That's where I came from, really. You know, my background was writing articles about flight sims and PC hardware and stuff like that back in the 90s up into the early 2000s. And this is the kind of stuff that, I used to do. But I have the WarGameGuru website, and I just haven't been inspired to do much writing anymore because the new medium is video. And that's where I've been spending my time and trying to be creative. But these guys kind of inspire me to want to write more. They really put together some good stuff. And there's an article they did on IL-2's Tactical Air War. TAW is a server, an online server for IL-2. And they put together a campaign, I guess, where they just, get in there and they basically just kick the shit out of each other in a realistic scenario. And by reading the article, it looks pretty cool. So definitely check it out, especially if you're into IL-2 and the World War II stuff. Lots of great screenshots, and it looks like these guys have a hell of a lot of fun. If only I could get to the point to where I can get on a server like this and figure out how to do the startup and mess with the fuel and get it in the air and all that. That's the only thing that, for me, is a challenge for some of these realistic servers that run the IL-2 stuff. You've got to do everything by the book. I wouldn't mind doing everything by the book once I'm in the air. It's just getting off the ground and going through the procedures to land these old warbirds, which, is just something I haven't really had the time to figure out. I'm more of a 6-year-old on a 6-pack of Jolt Cola attention span kind of guy. So, being able to figure out the intricacies of mixing my fuel and figuring out how to, rub my belly and pat my head to make a Spitfire taxi around a runway and take off is just something that eludes me at the moment. But I'll put a link to this article and their website at the bottom of the video because this is really good stuff. Definitely something worth looking at, especially if you love IL-2. So the other big piece of news is, with the world being in chaos, with the pandemic going on, the DCS guys, Fighter Pilot Podcast, Thrustmaster, Heatblur, so many people, not to leave anybody out, but Polychop, Point Control, Fox Mounts, DSD. Some of these guys I've never heard of, but I'm going to start looking into. So they're creating a Merge for the Cure relief charity event. And it's going to be, the commentator will be Vincent Aiello, Jello from the Fighter Pilot Podcast, which sounds pretty cool. Excellent dude. And it's basically an open, what is it, 1 versus 1? Is it 1 versus 1? I didn't read all the details. Yeah, rules for 1 versus 1. So it's basically an online multiplayer tournament, if you will. And I'll put the information at the bottom of the notes here in the video. And I believe registration is open until May 6th. Sign-up status is open. It's going to close on May 6th, so you got about 4 days to do it. Again, I'll put links at the bottom of the video here for you guys to check it out. But that's pretty freaking cool that these guys are all getting together to do that. And basically, if you donate $10 to the Doctors Without Borders fund, then you are entered into the tournament. Very cool stuff. Alright, the same day I posted the last news bit a couple days ago. Surprisingly, Eagle Dynamics released their latest changelog open beta update, basically. And there's a lot of stuff in it. I'm not going to go through and try to read it. Some of the stuff that kind of stands out to me is they've fixed a crash of the AGM-88. Scud missile corrected the skins. Some VR fixes. Medium water creates double vision for terrain fixed. VR fixed automatic use of headset audio for outputs which are set to the default device. I noticed that was doing something weird when it came to the audio in VR, so good to hear that they fixed that. They've added some stuff to the Mirage 2000. Brightness enabled for RWR, contact display logic, Magic Mav search enabled. It includes HUD TD updates, very cool. DCS JF17, we'll talk about this in a minute, but one of the major things that they added at this point is the ability to mid-air refuel. Flaming Cliffs, data linked, multiplayer data link ghost contacts eliminated, not sure what that was all about. Just a bunch of tiny little fixes for a lot of the other ones. Oh, they did address the A10 dispersion because of data that they had picked up and wanted to make the A10 more realistic. So the Flaming Cliffs one and the regular A10, the GAU8 dispersion of the gun has been tweaked, basically. F18, not a lot for that. And looks like lesson 4 and 19, they've done stuff for the F16, fixed the gun alignment in the Gazelle, and then, as usual, a ton of campaign tweaks. But you can update to the latest version of the open beta if you like, and we are up to 2.5.6.45915 at this point, and that was released on the 30th. In addition, they tweaked the Supercarrier FAQ that they had posted the other day that I had mentioned in the last news video. Not sure what was added or tweaked or removed to this thing, but I will include a link to it at the bottom of the video notes. So I like to every now and again mention a video created by the community, by a community member. And this guy put together a FW190-A8 No BS Basics. It's basically a tutorial to get the FW190-A8 into the air. And the guy appears to have done a really good job. It's very straightforward.
Hold it down for about 15-20 seconds.
And it's just a simple but well done video of how to get her started up and into the air. And these are the kind of tutorials I like.
From what I've read, 300 k's an hour. Bring your flaps down.
And as usual, this is from EncyC, and go check him out, man. It looks like he's got 49 subscribers. Help a brother out. Head over there and subscribe to him and check out the video. Looks like some fun stuff, and seems like a pretty cool guy to have done that and put that together so well. Alrighty, one thing I want to mention, and this is just to correct what I said a minute ago when I was covering the open beta changelog. Mid-air refueling did not make it into this version. I came across this and I was mistaken. I saw a video out there of a guy doing the mid-air refueling, so I assumed it made it in. But basically they're saying, the open beta came earlier than scheduled. They submitted critical files for the mid-air refueling. Unfortunately, they are not included in this update. But to allow players still able to enjoy the AAR feature, they've made a small patch. Also, Ed can have a patch update soon. They've included that there. So if you want to do the mid-air refueling, that's how it's being done at this moment. It wasn't officially included in the open beta update. Like I had mentioned, I was mistaken. But I will include a link to this at the bottom of the show notes there, and you can try it out yourself until they add it through the open beta. You can use this patch to pull it off. Very cool stuff. Alright, same day, WAGs had put up a Viper Mini-Update. While there's a lot of effort currently on the Hornet, the Viper's also still getting a lot of love. Here are some items currently being worked on. Added hack time, adjusted strobe light, updated engine and throttle audio, CNI adjustments, external skins, improved performance, damage modeling phase 2, AIM-120 active and TTI indication adjustments, adjusted IFF HOTAS commands, and tuning NWS authority. So those are the things for the F-16C Viper that is being worked on right now. In addition, the same day, WAGs had made a post and mentioned, this is the mini update for the Hornet. We currently have a heavy focus on the Hornet with a couple of very complex and time-intensive features like TGP and air-to-ground radar. Here are the Hornet items that the team is currently working on. Further targeting pod features, air-to-ground radar, air-to-air radar display fixes and additions, data link fixes, AIM-120 behavior, AGM-65 corrections, and improvements to the gun funnel. So these are the things that they are currently working on as of the 31st for the Hornet. Okay, this is the biggest update of the week so far, and to me is the most exciting thing. The Heatblur guys have posted a Q1E development update, and it's pretty large. It goes into detail about everything that they've done so far, and then the first part right here, by what I'm reading, is the full list of changes from Q1 2020. They've really done a lot of stuff to the TOMCAT, and it's really cool. But what I'm looking forward to is what's to come. So, in terms of the Forrestal class carriers, they go on to say, I have egg on my face. I felt pretty safe in the statement that they'd launched the Forrestal in March. Their plans revolved around doing a standalone alpha beta release, and this would allow us to gauge feedback and actively develop the carriers before merging them into the live branch and distributing the content through the next patches. Unfortunately, they've had to take a few steps backwards. Their schedule has slipped. Recent carrier launch issues that have basically popped up, and then the work needing to be done to support the new Supercarrier module has kept things in flux. Thanks, Eagle Dynamics. Basically, them doing the Supercarrier has pushed them into overdrive so that they could get the F-14 included in it. Has pretty much slowed down the process of what they're doing on the Forrestal carrier. So these things are still coming, and he says in the meantime we'll focus on getting out Forrestal focused updates in the next week, and they'll show off the work through some pleasing eye candy and hopefully launch shortly thereafter. Very cool stuff, and I can't say a bad thing about these guys. These are definitely like the best fucking developers that make DCS stuff in general, next to Eagle Dynamics, I think. Okay, I mentioned the other day about the TWS Auto. They mentioned that here. F-14A work continues as one of our top priorities outside of the Forrestal, Jester Lantern, B engine gauges, and other big ticket items. Features still in development include artwork changes, Pratt & Whitney TF30 engines, new sound set, and sound overhaul for the F-14B, ALR-45, and liveries. It is very likely that we will launch the F-14A without all of its features implemented. This is to avoid a longer wait before everything is perfectly in place. We'll try to keep the number of Frankensteined elements to a minimum. However, one of the biggest items on the agenda for the F-14A are the Pratt & Whitney TF30 engines, and pretty cool stuff. I'm not going to go in and read this whole thing, but if you go in here, I'll put a link in here and you guys could read this, and it's pretty interesting. One of the things I've realized is it's got like a 5-stage afterburner, and in addition to that, what they've done is they've made 2 videos. This is the startup process for the F-14A with the T30 engines, and they did a TF-30 Zone 5 afterburner takeoff. So the cool thing about this that's different about it that I've noticed so far is it does have a 5-stage afterburner. So should be pretty cool. And then the future of the F-14. Here's a non-exhaustive list of what we're planning to tackle. TWS Auto, Jester Lantern. Oh, what's this? A-6E and KA6 AI. Oh, they're going to add AIs of the A6. That's interesting. Tarps, limited feature, 2 campaigns, 4 still carriers, significant sound improvements, new pilot models for the cockpit, key binding improvements, gesture additions and improvements, F14B digital EIG, not sure what EIG is, various corrections for the -B Viz, A Viz, and -A, yeah, not sure what those mean either. Improved trap model dynamics, new afterburner visual effects, AIM-54 Phoenix issues, yaw string, new compressor stall effects and animations, completion of fire suppression, add progressive fire damage, jamming additions, LAO 7 art, LAO 13B, MAX 79 bomb clamp corrections, cockpit panels, additional IFF interrogator panel, wheel chocks, missing oxygen gauge, and then the F14A, including the engine model, Mach lev position on the pilot's master test panel, aerodynamic fairing bullet covers for the TCS, new liveries, ALR45 RWR, art changes, and the new Pratt & Whitney TF30 sound set, and more. And they go on to say, stick with us and believe in us. We're not going anywhere, and we will deliver on what we set out to do 4 years ago. Pretty cool. And again, that's it for this update. Stay tuned for an article on the TWSA in the next few days and another development update on the Forrestal class next week. Absolutely fucking good job, guys. Really. Absolutely good job. Heatblur, like I said, has to be the best developer of DCS modules out of everybody out there. I even think I would put them ahead of Eagle Dynamics, to be honest, but, you know, that's just me. I like what these guys are doing. I like their attitude, and they have been completely transparent. But I will say this, you know, the guys at Eagle Dynamics have done a fantastic job of transparency as well over the past probably 6 months. Man, it's been a 360 in terms of what these guys are doing and how they're handling everything online and questions that people have. And, you know, the owner has been out there answering questions as well, so it's not just WAGs. They have a community manager out there now doing a lot of stuff. So good job, guys. Good job all around, I would say. But I will post links to these at the bottom of the video as usual. But as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button, and until next time.